Oh my gosh, this is easily one of my favorite houses we've seen in a while.
Insane house. I love this house.
You know, I think there's time that we should do a video about the whole teardown process, because there's people reaching out to us about what does it look like to take these older houses and create something like this.
This is my favorite thing to talk about because this is what I want to do one day. So let's talk shop. How do you get a gorgeous custom home in an area where there's no vacant land?
Stay tuned. All right, so before we take you guys into that beautiful house, we're gonna take you all the way back to the beginning and show you what the process is if you want to go through it. So Kristen, if they want to find an area to build, where do they start?
Well, we're actually gonna have an interview with one of the builders who does this, and we're gonna talk about the whole process from start to finish. This is actually halfway through the process because you've already got your lot, you've already got your design. So this is more so for the buyer who's like, I know where I wanna live, I have an idea of the style of home that I want, but I'm not liking anything that's already out there.
Yeah.
So what can I find?
Yeah, and there's a lot of pre-work that goes into it, right? Like this has obviously been a whole process of finding the lot, making sure the house fits, getting it approved, tearing it down, and then that's why you say this is halfway done, believe it or not, in terms of overall timing. But you see over there, they've got a tear down, right across the street's a tear down. This is happening everywhere around Urban Park and a lot of the great areas of Orlando.
Yeah, because there's no available vacant space anywhere.
Beyond just school district and city though, there's a lot to think about when you're choosing your lot.
Yeah, I mean, neighborhood is important, but also what do you want on your lot? Do you want some mature trees that you want to save?
Yeah.
Do you want a corner lot? Do you want to have some water views? Which direction do you want the sun to be when you open up your door or where you're living in your backyard? So all of that is something you want to consider.
Yeah, now how would people find these, right? Because it's not like you can go on realtor.com or the orlandoreal.com and find teardown. Yeah, so what's the process in finding something like that?
Well, it depends on the neighborhood, but a lot of times you're looking at a certain type of age of a home. So they can be listed on our MLS and you can reach out to us and we can help you look for those. But sometimes we're actually doing the groundwork and we're door knocking or sending out mailers and we're specifically targeting specific homes in order to consider them for that option.
And a lot of times you might have to choose multiple houses, figure out if the house that you want to build is going to fit on that. And so it can be a really long process from start to end.
Yeah.
That's weird. You know, it's not weird. You subscribe to our channel, hit it below. It's interesting, sometimes people reach out and they know right away that the house that they want to list with us is a teardown. They're like, hey, listen, I inherited this home. It's like disgusting inside. It makes more sense and it's probably worth more for the lot. But sometimes people don't always know, right? Until you get out there and you're like, honestly, somebody could build an insane house like this on the lot. That's a difficult conversation sometimes.
It can be, but do you remember that listing I had on Chestnut?
I do.
That was an older style home that they had done some renovations to. The backyard was insane. It was 1/4 of an acre.
Yeah.
And we had, when we listed it, both options. We had buyers who wanted it to make it their home and to renovate it, and we had plenty of investors who were looking to develop it into something massive. And we had buyers who were looking to purchase it, to level it, to build something insane. So it depends on the area, but I've found that in this Winter Park bubble, that's really common. And so when we have sellers who reach out to us, that's the first thing I think. Is this an opportunity to have somebody build something? And do we have the buyer who already wants it?
Yeah, it comes down to, I think, highest and best use for that seller because they want to get the most amount of money.
Right.
And then the buyer sometimes actually has to pay a little bit more than it might even be worth to get that dream lot.
Exactly.
So the builder we're about to go meet at their finished product. This is a house that they have that's about 90 days out or so.
Yes, it's almost done. We're almost about to see the dream come to fruition here.
All the fun stuff starts, right? Like once you get the drywall up, then it's home run from there.
It's cabinets, it's flooring, it's all those little finishes that you've actually chosen, the lighting. It's going to become a home.
Yeah, it's interesting the choice out. We were driving up to this lot and I'm like, it feels like people are pushing farther and farther away to the core that people 5-6 years ago, they would have said, I have to walk to Park Ave.
Lakefront, I have to have a double lot. Those are done. We don't have any more of those.
Those have already been torn down, right? See you again in 60 years and then try it again. But it's interesting. So that's one thing that I think people should be thinking about is that as they're looking for their ideal lot, like don't be afraid to go 4 or 5 blocks off of that core to find that dream home because a lot of these areas just continue to spread out.
Yeah, what's more important to you, right? Is it to actually have the home that you really want and it's maybe 5-10 minutes a little further out than you were hoping? Or is that location the most important thing? because then you're really paying for that.
Yeah, there's so many like custom touches here. Like, oh, wait a minute, look at that. That's insane.
Oh my God, is that a skylight?
Yeah, I haven't seen a skylight in a hot minute. But as you walk through, you can definitely see the custom touches throughout. So for one, you've got wood windows instead of the production fiberglass windows. You got the hood vent over here where you can tell not just gonna be a standard hood vent, right? They're building
obviously
it in.
custom, yeah.
What other things you seen in here
Well,
from
we
a
got
custom?
12-foot ceilings throughout, and I mean all of the doors, these giant 8-foot wood doors, they're so unique and custom. You can tell just from the decoration style here, right?
Yeah.
It's not just this big square door, it's got these little features here that bring that Winter Park charm back in, and that's what's unique about this builder, is they're building for the area.
Yeah. Well, they're able to because the price point's higher,
yes.
right? And so many of the production builders, they have to go lower because if not, it would be unaffordable for so many people. But in this area, they're able to spend a little bit more to get a little bit more.
We had to spend more to get the lot alone.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's why when we talk about like going a little bit farther out, it's like, you know, the difference of sometimes just one block could be $100,000 difference because some people just aren't willing to wait for their neighbors to be torn down to where they're not the one that's sticking out.
Yeah, they don't mind being the first home in the neighborhood to be renovated and brand new.
Yeah.
Innovators. Bianca, I'm so excited to be here with you today. I love what you do. So talk to me a little bit from a buyer's perspective, from start to finish, and the design, the development, picking a lot. What does that look like?
Sure, yeah. So our first step is usually sitting down with the clients, kind of going overview of what their wish list, their dream list is for their house, and kind of figuring out size of the house, their style, interior finishes, and then obviously location, kind of figuring out where is a good spot for them and where their dream location would be. And then from their inspiration photos and their spec requirements, we get a ballpark price of kind of what that house would cost them, and it can vary, you know. So from that point, we kind of back into like, all right, it'll cost X amount to build your house. You have this much for land, to give them some sort of guidance. And then based on your spec requirement for your house, let's say in Winter Park, for example, based on the setbacks, this is the size lot that you're gonna need. Then we would go into an actual design. So we work with a third-party architect. That takes usually 3 or 4 revisions kind of back and forth to perfect the floor plan and elevation style. And then from that point, we go into the fun stuff, which is starting to pick all the finishes and design.
With the current market that we're in, with the interest rates and taxes and prices, there could be a lot of pitfalls associated with a longer process, right? So if it takes how long typically to build something like this?
So from design to full completion, I would say all in a year and a half. Actual construction's about 10 to 12 months.
So there's a lot of things that can happen in a year and a half.
Yeah.
So what are some of the major things that you're watching out for?
Right. So if they are in a construction loan, they're paying today's mortgage rate, or so they're not going to be affected a year and a half by that per se. But as we learned through COVID, nothing is predictable, and we could have never imagined what hardship that was. And there were major labor shortages, major material shortages, and then prices of everything just shot up. So we now know that can happen at any time.
So Bianca, who is the ideal buyer for this type of process?
Yeah, so for us, we love doing the spec side of it, where we have kind of creative control. We design the house, we select the finishes, and we have an end buyer that comes in. So for their purposes, they're getting a brand new custom construction home, but we've done all the design and selection process.
And you've found the lot already?
And we found the lot already.
Okay. If a buyer is shopping around builders because they're looking in a specific area and they're trying to find out who would be a good match for them, what are some things that they should be asking, and what do you think makes you stand out differently from the other competition out there?
Sure, I would probably ask how many homes they've built in the city or the area or the county that they're building in, because relationships with your city board members are very important. There's different ways to do contracts. You could do a cost plus contract, or you can do a fixed price contract. If they're doing a fixed price contract, just kind of figuring out what finishes does the builder have in mind? Is it the same what the client's actually asking for? So I think making sure that they have a true understanding of your full design aesthetic. If they don't have a designer, do they work with designers? Maybe bringing a third-party designer in if they don't have an in-house one that can help guide you. And just making sure that you're staying in with your allowances, but you're on alignment from the start of it.
All right, so Kristen, people will be saying, I know in our comment section, well, these are multi-million-dollar homes.
Well, they are.
They are. But can people get in some of those maybe older areas with a newer product?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for like the mature trees and you still want to be in that downtown vibe, then K-Hop's building in the Milk District.
They are.
They've got 3-story townhomes and single-family homes that are available. I know there's quite a few builders in Sodo even that are doing some pocket neighborhoods.
Yeah, David Weekley built right across from my duplex that I've got over on Page Street. They knocked down 13 houses in a row and built homes kind of in the high 8s and low 1 million range. So you don't have to spend $2, $3, $4 million. And yet, if you want to be in Winter Park and do a tear down and do custom, you probably should
we're
have
starting
that
to
kind
add
of budget.
dollars there.
Yeah, for sure. So if you do want to go through the process, you're looking to do a tear down and you want us to help you in that, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. Make sure you reach out at theorlandoreal.com/YouTube for more information. We'll see you guys on the next video.
This particular lot right here is a corner lot, so it's prime real estate.
Exactly.
How did we time this? There's a third one, Ken.